What's going on, everybody? Tucker Bagley along with Eliot Shorr-Parks, live from the Linc, live from the press box, which I think it's dry in there, right, Eliot? No snow there. There
Yes,
is
it's
snow on
warm
the
in here.
field. We're seeing it, kind of start to pile up a little bit. I'll be interested to see what it looks like when teams go back out to start the second half. But we're at halftime here. Eagles lead the Rams 13-10, and a lot of things went the way we thought it would. Like, the Eagles have been able to run all over the Rams. They have a 44-yard touchdown from Jalen Hurts. They have a 62-yard touchdown from Saquon Barkley. And I think right now, like, maybe the worst thing on offense is targeting A.J. Brown. He has two
Yeah,
drops. Jalen Hurts missed him. He was kind of wide open on an out route, and Jalen Hurts just kind of missed him high. But what were your impressions of the offense so far through 30 minutes?
Yeah, the words that come to mind when thinking of that first half with the Eagles is missed opportunities. It feels like they should be up more than they are. You mentioned the two long touchdowns they had, but think about the points they gave up on that opening Rams drive. They're nearly off the field on third down. The Rams challenge, they get that first down. Darius Slay nearly has an interception, doesn't come down with that. Later in the game, Isaiah Rodgers nearly has an interception. That turns into a long completion. And then that fourth down they gave up to the Rams, but also that 3rd and 6 that they gave up to Stafford on that opening drive. So on defense alone, those are some of the missed opportunities. And then you look on offense. Yes, again, they have the two long plays, but A.J. Brown, that long catch down the sideline. Now, watching it live, and this is not with the benefit of replay, to me, it looked like Jalen could have put that ball over the top, and instead A.J. had to adjust to it. And it's
It
not the
was
easiest.
underthrown.
It was underthrown, okay. And it looked to me like, he had to adjust to that and didn't come down with it, but still, that's a catch he normally makes. I also thought on that long pass to Devontae, where Devontae got drilled, that was a pass that was underthrown. To me, in the press box, it looked like he was open. If, he has like a rocket arm, that's probably a touchdown. So despite all that, obviously the missed extra point by Jake Elliott, and we'll get into the end of game sequence in a minute. But despite all that, they're up 3, but it feels like they should be up more than they are. It really feels like they're kind of dominating this game. The Rams have done some things on offense. Jared Verse clearly leaning into the villain role here. He's had an awesome game. You can tell that he's really playing into the crowd. My advice to the crowd would be stop booing him. I feel like it's just hyping him up. But yeah, that's what comes to mind with this first half. It's missed opportunities. Last week against the Packers, they just weren't playing that well. This time it feels like they've had chances and haven't taken advantage of it. And that can burn you. Like this game is certainly there to be lost. I think they're going to win it. I think they're playing like the better team. The snow is coming down your heart. I feel like it's going to only pick up in the second half. That should benefit the Eagles. But yeah, they've had a chance. They could be up 10, 13, even 17 points at this point, and they're not. And because of that, the season, like they got to hold on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game where you look at the box score. Eagles have 171 rushing yards at halftime. Now, obviously, they have 104 of those on 2 plays. But once again,
Right.
like what we thought they could do against this Rams defense is they could run the ball, and they've run the ball pretty consistently. And as the weather gets worse, you assume they're going to lean into that a little bit more and be more successful. But you mentioned, like, there's a couple drives. Jalen Hurts has taken sacks to push them out of field goal range.
Yeah.
We can talk about Jake Elliott and kind of what they did in the final.
Yeah,
30
let's talk about
seconds
the end of the half.
where
Give me your
Jalen
take
Hurts
on
takes
it.
a sack, he fumbles the ball. Kenneth Gainwell recovers it, thankfully. But they have a shot. If they call timeout with about 25 seconds to go, maybe you can try to pick up 10, 15 yards and give Jake Elliott a chance. Instead, the Eagles let the clock run down to 3 seconds. They try a Hail Mary. Jalen Hurts gets sacked once again. And, for a guy in Nick Sirianni who always has confidence in his players, he's been adamant that he hasn't wavered in his belief in Jake Elliott. You have to wonder if that missed extra point that he had after that opening drive touchdown, is that stuck in the back of his mind? Because instead of giving him a chance to maybe make a 50-yard field goal, make this a 6-point game heading into halftime, they essentially just knelt on the ball and didn't even give him an opportunity.
Yeah, that was one of the more weird and indefensible end of the halves from Nick Sirianni in terms of game management I can remember. And also, keep in mind, the Rams get the ball to start the third quarter. So it's not like they're just sitting on it thinking they're going to get the ball. So there's a few thoughts I have there. One, maybe they just don't think in the snow the field goal operation is the best way to do it. Maybe they think the snap, the hold, who knows. But there's been times throughout the past 2-3 weeks, really just 2 weeks, I guess, where he's punted from his own, inside his own 50. I feel like he never did that earlier in the year. And this time right here, like, if you're going to burn it down to 1 second, maybe they're worried about field goal block. I know that a concern they had in the building this week was the Rams field goal block unit. So maybe they don't want to risk something. Obviously, remember what happened against the Cleveland Browns and that kind of devastating end to the half there. So maybe that's it. But bottom line is we talked about this going into the playoffs. Would he coach like he has confidence in Jake Elliott? And he has not done that. And that end of the half sequence, I mean, I can only imagine like Howie and Jeffrey Lurie sitting in the box being like, what in the world is going on here? I mean, you have that timeout, like try to run another play, try to get another 20 yards. Who knows what happens? You've had some huge explosive plays this half. And not only that, you've had chance for more explosive plays. AJ's gotten open, Devontae's gotten open down the field. So yeah, that was really bad. And again, that's where I come back to missed opportunities. Who knows? Maybe that's 3 points right there. All of a sudden you're up 16 points. You're up 6 points instead of 3 points at the half. You just slowly add these things up. The dropped AJ pass at the 2 yard line, like they've probably cost themselves 10, 13 points in the first half. And the defense is playing pretty well. I feel like not great, but when we did the halftime show last week against the Packers, the feeling was, yeah, the Eagles probably don't need another point to win the game. They were dominating. I don't get that feeling today. I think the Rams probably have another 14 points in them, maybe 10 points. So the Eagles are going to have to come away with more points here. And it's concerning that they're continually costing themselves points.
Yeah, the Rams actually averaging more yards per play than the Eagles right now, 6.5 yards per play through the first half. And you look, as we kind of focus our attention on the defense, Rams had 4 possessions. They've had 2 decent ones. They had that touchdown drive. They had a field goal drive where a great play by C.J. Gardner-Johnson to set up
that was huge.
Inside the 10. And Sean McVay, usually a conservative coach, decides to just kick the field goal and get the 3 points instead of trying to go for, a touchdown in a hostile road environment. But you're right. I mean, the way they moved the ball on 2 of their 4 possessions certainly is concerning because it looks like maybe they have something figured out. Kyron Williams has run the ball pretty well. Matthew Stafford is finding receivers on underneath routes. Puka Nacua and Tyler Higbee are really giving the Eagles trouble over the middle of the defense. And I think probably the biggest concern for the defense right now is Isaiah Rodgers going to be able to hold up with Quinyon Mitchell?
I mean, that's the other thing, too, that Quinyon obviously so good in coverage, but he's also so good along the edge of the field with the run defense, tackling. He's brought a toughness to the defense this year that they didn't have last year. And actually, I mean, like Isaiah Rodgers has played okay. He had the one pass breakup that he flat out broke up. And then he had the other one where you could argue maybe he should just bat it down, the one that was nearly an interception. But he had it in his hands. Robinson just tore it away from him. So I think that Rodgers has actually been okay. But you talk about 2 players that have been a really big part of the defense this year, Quinyon Mitchell and Nakobe Dean. Neither of them are out there right now. And when Higbee and the running game are hurting you, you wonder how much of that is Oren Burks. I haven't seen the snap count with the first half. I don't know how much Trotter was out there. But clearly that position is being targeted. And as for Quinyon, I'm concerned. So we'll see when the third quarter starts if he's out there with the rest of the team. But he walked into that locker room not moving his arm. So I don't know if Quinyon's going to be back out there. But all that being said, if A.J. Brown makes 2 catches, the first catch I don't really think is his fault completely. It kind of feels like he saw contact coming. I don't think it was like an egregious drop. But the one on the 2-yard line, those are 2 catches he normally comes down with. So this one's on the offense to me. 10 points from the defense, all things considered, not terrible. If the defense can hold the Rams under 23 points, I think then the offense has to go out there and get it done. I think Jalen's been okay. I don't think he's been bad. I don't think he's been I know last week people were really upset about it. He's making some nice throws, but a few underthrows have really hurt him. And in a snow game, we'll see how his arm strength holds up.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's a weird paradox where, maybe you feel good because the Eagles have had these opportunities, but when you're letting a team like the Rams stick around in a game like this where it's only a 1-possession game going into halftime, it doesn't necessarily make you feel good because, if they continue to miss these opportunities, the Rams could steal a game that I think through 30 minutes to a degree the Eagles have outplayed them. They just haven't been able to cash in, especially in the red zone, especially when they get in.
But I do think if the Eagles can get up 13, this feels like a game where they could really kill clock because I think they've been successful running the ball. Jalen has been good running the ball for what it's worth. We've talked so much about him as a passer, but I think you saw today what he brings as a runner as well. Obviously the touchdown, but outside of that, there were also a few flags I'm surprised they didn't throw. The one where he gets pulled down when he's out of bounds. I think it was a Rams defensive lineman comes in and tries to punch the ball away from him when he's already down. Saquon, I thought, took a late hit. Jalen took a late hit on the early drive. So there's just been a lot of almost in this first half. And if even 2 of those things go the Eagles' way, we're probably feeling pretty confident here. It could legitimately be 23-10 at half. But they didn't. And in a slippery, wet game, you never know. So it seems like the snow's still coming down. I can't really see because I'm looking at the screen. But all indications are it's only going to get heavier in the second half. So Rams get the ball to start, get them off the field, get a touchdown, go up 10. I'm not saying get ultra conservative, but at that point, you can really start to try to kill clock. So I still think they'll probably win the game. But yeah, this one's a bit of a toss up, which I don't think many people anticipated coming in.
No, I mean the Eagles entered the game as 6.5 point favorites. It'll be interesting to see how the snow affects everything because you're
Yes.
right. In a game like this, where it's this close, it just makes everything a little bit more unpredictable. And you look at the live line right now, the Eagles are 5.5 point
Okay.
favorites heading into the second half. So still favored, still expected to win, but it, like you said, it's a close game. It's going to be snowy. Anything could really happen. But that'll do it for Eliot. That'll do it for myself. Please come back, join Eliot and James Seltzer right after the game is over, right here on YouTube, on X. They'll be breaking down everything that happens, hopefully previewing next week's NFC Championship game
Yeah.
between the Eagles and Commanders. But that'll do it for us right now, and we will talk to you again, hopefully,